Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're looking at a destination that is almost always defined by its sparkling blue waters, but we are going to completely flip that script. We're talking about Belize, and specifically, Belize's nature's best-kept secret. Seriously, if you think you know this country, prepare to be amazed, because there is an incredibly lush, ancient, and a highly protected world waiting just beyond the shoreline.
So let's dive right into this. When you hear the word Belize, what instantly pops into your head? For most of us, it's a very specific, postcard-perfect picture. But what if I told you that the image you're holding in your mind right now is literally just the outer shell of a much deeper, vastly more complex ecological marvel? What is the true secret this country is hiding?
I know. This is exactly what you were picturing, right? The calm, crystal clear waters of the Western Caribbean, palm trees swaying, the majestic Belize Barrier Reef. And hey, it is undeniably stunning. But here's the thing. While that 174-mile stretch of coastline and all its spectacular marine attractions are what draw so many visitors in, they represent only a tiny fraction of the whole picture. Honestly, you're barely scratching the surface. Because as we move beyond the beach, an entirely different world opens up. Did you know that over 70% of Belize's total area is still dominated by natural vegetation? Over 70%. We're talking about a vast interior filled with towering rainforests, intricate cave systems, and this incredibly rich tapestry of biodiversity. And the rest of this explainer is going to be our journey deep into that hidden natural wonderland. Here's how our itinerary is looking for today. First, uncovering Belize's best secret. Then, a journey into the interior, followed by wildlife and national wonders. After that, exploring the limestone underworld. And finally, a legacy of protection. Let's kick things off with Section 1, uncovering Belize's best secret, and the sheer scale of its conservation. Get this, approximately 41% of Belize's land and sea is under some form of protected status. Let me repeat that, 41%. In a world where wild spaces are literally shrinking by the day, Belize has made it a national priority to tie its tourism directly to conservation. It is an absolutely staggering commitment to keeping the environment pristine. And this immense protection effort isn't just one giant blanket thrown over the map. It's a highly organized, multi-layered system safeguarding the ecosystem across a huge variety of zones. We are talking about 16 national parks, 17 forest reserves, 20 marine reserves, numerous wildlife sanctuaries, and even privately managed reserves. They're making sure every single type of habitat gets preserved. When you actually map these protected zones out across the country, the visual impact is just wild. Look at all those shaded regions, from the marine reserves hugging the coastline in the east, all the way to the massive forest reserves and national parks that completely dominate the inland areas. It's a true visual testament to a country that deeply, deeply values its natural heritage.
Moving right along to Section 2, journey into the interior. The classic 2-hour drive from coast to canopy.
Picture this. You hop into one of those bright yellow tour vans, the kind driven by seasoned experts who have decades of experience on these roads. As we head westward on the George Price Highway, leaving the coastal breezes of Belize City behind, the scenery completely shifts. We travel from the low-lying plains up toward the lush, rolling hills of the Cayo district, which is often called the gateway to the Maya world. We pass through sprawling savannas and eventually into the dense green canopy of broadleaf forests. Belize actually boasts over 85 identified terrestrial ecosystems, and this one drive gives us a front-row seat to all that incredible environmental diversity. Now, a crucial point here is understanding the actual history of the landscape rolling past the window. You'd probably think you're staring at untouched, ancient jungle, right? Actually, because of Belize's long history of logging and the massive human populations that lived here during the classic Maya period, most of what we see is technically secondary forest. Early regenerating forest is locally known as guamal. It just goes to show the land's remarkable ability to heal and regenerate itself over time. Which brings us to Section 3, Wildlife and National Wonders. Let's look at the flora and fauna of this interior. As we venture deeper into these broadleaf forests, you really have to keep your eyes peeled, because the wildlife here is second to none. For instance, you'll spot the national tree, the magnificent mahogany, which shoots straight up to over 100 feet, breaking right through the forest canopy. And up in those branches, you might find the national bird, the keel-billed toucan, famous for that incredibly colorful canoe-shaped bill. These omnivorous birds have this amazing way of eating. They cut fruit with their serrated bills, flip it up into the air, toss their heads back, and catch it whole. They literally never miss, which, is definitely more than I can say when I try to catch popcorn in my mouth at the movies.
Next up, Section 4, Exploring the Limestone Underworld, Belize's Intricate Cave Systems.
Because, hey, the wonders of Belize don't just reach up into the canopy, they plunge deep beneath the earth. Belize essentially sits on a massive foundation of limestone rock. This means that over millions of years, water has dissolved the rock to create intricate, massive cave systems. Inside, you'll find these fragile, absolutely breathtaking crystal formations. You've got stalactites growing down from the ceiling and stalagmites reaching up from the floor. And the scale is just mind-blowing. Take the Chicabol cave system near Guatemala, for instance. It's the largest in Belize, featuring literal miles of winding tunnels and spectacularly huge chambers. But these aren't just empty geological wonders. They are deeply, profoundly human spaces. The ancient Maya actually utilized these dark, winding cave systems, like the Chachimha cave, for deep ceremonial and burial purposes. So when you step into these caves today, you aren't just exploring geology. You're walking straight through ancient, sacred history. And that leads us to Section 5, a legacy of protection, connecting the past to the present. You really can't grasp Belize's natural secrets without understanding the people who first mastered this landscape. We so often think of the ancient Maya just as mysterious figures, but they were master builders and brilliant farmers. Think about the site of Zunitunich and its massive temple El Castillo, standing over 130 feet tall. Every single limestone slab there was carried and placed by hand, without pack animals, without wheeled vehicles, no wheels. But beyond that engineering genius, they completely mastered the tropical environment. They utilized the fertile lands to grow staples like corn and beans, and they cultivated a profound encyclopedic knowledge of the jungle's biodiversity for both food and medicine.
And you know, that agricultural spirit, that deep connection to the earth, it's not just a relic of the past. It is alive and well right now. In villages like San Jose Sucats, direct descendants of the ancient Maya still live, farm, and preserve this profound connection to their land. This legacy of working in true harmony with the lush environment continues to shape the very cultural identity of Belize today.
So after taking all this in, seeing the staggering scale of protection, the lush secondary forests, that fragile limestone underworld, and the enduring legacy of the Maya, we're left with a pretty vital question. When you visit a place this spectacular, are you going to be a passive visitor or a mindful ecotourist? Understanding the rules like not touching those fragile cave crystals, staying on the marked paths, and respecting the ancient stone structures, that is how we ensure this 41% of protected paradise actually survives. Belize has done the hard work of protecting its best-kept secret. The question is, how will you honor it? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.